Yeah.
After seeing Joe, and that looked like you were all lit up.
In a good way.
Do you want me to say anything about just not say anything and then take it?
Okay, everybody. Come hither if you're going to stay for the meeting. I'm looking for kids, and I don't see any kids. They're all in Trimmer Hall? Will somebody go get the kids from Trimmer Hall for me, please? Thank you. While we're waiting for the kids to come in, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and I'm going to ask Dusty to pray for us, and then when the kids get here, we have a special thing we're going to do.
God, thank you for this opportunity for us to gather together and continue to be a church family. Thank you for that. Continue to guide her. And we all hear and listen to one another well. Amen.
Thank you. Yes.
Talk up, you can't be heard.
What?
They can't hear you, talk up.
I didn't say anything yet. Dudley, can you come up here, please? You come up. Hattie, you come up too. I'm looking for two twins. Two twin girls are not up here with me. Yes. Where's Gabe Sky?
He's in there. He ignored your request.
And where? Oh, he ignored my request?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, we'll see how that works for him. Okay, so you see those of us who are up here, or who came today with green shirts. We walked. Thank you, honey. Dusty asked me last week, we're going to go on this hunger hike. Who do I need to worry about? I said, me. You have to worry about me, that I make it. And I'm glad to say that I did make it, actually. And I'm having all the kids come up here because the majority of those kids up here with me went on the walk. Not everybody could, but the ones who could did. Amazingly enough, Dudley was the oldest of, I think, anybody in the walk, actually. So we have medals. We have medals.
A medal for an old geezer.
A medal for an old geezer. You gotta take your glasses. There we go.
How about a dog child?
And then Gabe Sky, come here. We got a special medal for Gabe Sky because he was the first one of our church congregation to get back. Right? Is that right?
No, it was Alex.
Oh, Alex, you were first?
Yeah.
Okay.
That was second.
Well, come on, Alex. Come here. Get that hoodie off. There you go. Thank you for going. All right. You guys come right over here, you little short people. Come over here. Little short people. Okay. Sharon, grab one of those for me. You guys did an amazing job, and so you get a medal too. And you get a medal, a hunger hike medal. I couldn't find any lime green hunger hike medals, so when you get home, cut out a piece of green paper and glue it on there, because it says you're the winners. You guys are the winners. I know. Sharon? I think it's important that we recognize the fact that our kids do amazing things and reach out and do service projects. Hold on.
I'm afraid you're going to get left out.
And we have one remaining medal for Hattie, who would have come if she could have.
Sure, she would.
So just a big handshake for everybody who went, and you did a good job. Thank you all. Okay. So we have a lot of territory to cover today. I'm going to try and do it quickly. I'm just going to ask if you have something that you want to say, stand up, hold your hand up. We just have a lot of territory to cover, and I know people need to get going. The first thing we need to do is look at the minutes from the last congregational meeting. They are inside your the packet with your agenda. So if you have taken a look at them and know of any corrections, let me know. If you haven't taken a look at them, please do so for a couple of minutes, and then we'll either need to know what changes you see or have a motion to accept them as they are. Anybody see any changes or know any changes? What, Dudley? Oh, thank you. We have a motion to accept the minutes and a second. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed signify by saying no. Minutes are approved. Thank you very much. Those who voted, those who took the minutes, all appreciated. I'm going to let Diane come up, give us some information about the treasurer's report.
Good morning. I did have a sheet out in the foyer, so if you haven't gotten one, you can pick one up on your way home. But I wanted to start with the very good news that our Paycheck Protection Program loan from the SBA was forgiven, and that amount is $51,790. So yes, this is a very good thing for Federated. From this amount, we've got the largest portion that will be returned to the church, some to preschool, and then some to the GLIC grant for the paychecks. And we appreciate Orlo Shoup for shepherding this through for us. The 2021 budget estimate estimated a deficit of over $32,000. Now, with the money that we are being forgiven on the loan, hopefully we will end the year in the black, as we did last year. Last year, we ended up with about $900 surplus, and I'm hoping that we will end up that way as well this year. However, I don't anticipate another program being allowed for next year. So this is not something we can depend on in the future, these government loans, grants, but at least for now, it's been quite a huge help to Federated. At the end of August, our budgeted income was running at 73% and the expenses at 64%. And as you know, it's the season for the stewardship drive, and we're gearing up for the 2022 budget. We've been running a deficit budget for several years now, and as all of you know, that's not sustainable. I hope that all of us can give some extra time to thinking about how we can contribute financially next year, as well as time, talents, our energy, our encouragement to those who are doing the work of the church. And as they say in the commercials, that can be priceless. I think that we're very much a part of the greater Lafayette community. And as such, I would like to see us go forward with our nurturing to the outreach programs, the mission fields that we have, and I think that we are making a difference. At the bottom of the sheet, I've got a little summary of the Better Than a Buck program. I'll have to say, when Dusty started this program, I thought, well, we might get a couple $100 at the most every month. Well, as you can see, people have gone above and beyond, and I've been actually quite amazed and very pleased at our church's generosity in these programs. So without counting today's budget or today's offering, it's been over $7,000 so far. And I think that this is just phenomenal. And I'm very proud of the Federated family for these above and beyond mission gifts that have been specifically targeted this year. And I appreciate Dusty's suggestion of this program for having instituted it. That's all I have for right now. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. Now I need maybe Milo to come up and tell us about the status of the organ. Let Dusty off the hook and let Milo on the hook.
Okay. I feel like, here, let me do this. I feel like I'm excited because I can project now. I was just saying in Bible study, yesterday I called Bev and said, I can take a full breath. All I'm saying is, we're behind partially because I was out for several weeks with COVID. And that's been a month now, and yesterday I could take a full breath. I'm excited, but that put us behind a little bit. So, not to keep making excuses, we have a whole bunch of equipment and things sitting in our store ready to come over here and be put in, but we are behind. I am hoping in the next, I hate to make promises, maybe 2 weeks, that we will be over here and start installing things. We had to make some custom speakers because in our original estimate we had these pre-made nice speakers, and then in my wisdom I came over and looked at the little hatches going up there and said, those won't fit in there. So we've made some speakers that are nicer maybe than what we'd originally quoted, but nonetheless custom made some things that will fit in there, and those are all getting completed. We're back on track. We're moving forward, and hopefully soon it will be completed. And if you want to know details or just are curious, flag me down sometime.
Thank you. Okay. Social media status. I think that we, the marketing and media group, has been working extra hard on continuing on the website to keep it updated. Facebook posts, the Facebook page is always busy. So I think that it's one of the really important things that we need to do as we're moving forward, is to really pay attention to digitally what's happening out there. And so months ago, Dusty spent some time after church nabbing people and getting pictures of them and asking for just 2 or 3 sentences about what Federated means to you. And he began posting those and did, I don't know, a bunch of them. And the most traffic that we got on our Facebook page was from those posts. It was not from any reviews that anyone here has done. So I will ask you again, if you have Facebook, if you're on Facebook, just go to our Facebook page and make a review, because those things increase the traffic and increase our visibility in the Facebook world. So it's really important that you do that. And you don't have to worry about not wanting to do it all at the same time, because nobody else is doing it. So if you could just do it, if I could even get one, I would really be happy with just one. So that's that. The texting communication tool. So I was confused. Dusty only got this straight in my head this week. So we have the text to 9400, and we have the welcome cards that nobody's really filling out very much of. So we're trying to use that Hello Federated text to 9400 to say, I'm here, I'm in church today. Then we're using text Pray Today to that same number for prayer requests that we have. So there are two different things that are happening with that same number. The information goes to Dusty. So as we try to account for everybody, make sure that we know who's here, who's missing, who we need to reach out to. That's a tool that we're trying to implement. We have to pay to use it, so we need to know whether or not it's a good use of our funds to do that. So, yes. It's 94,000. Yeah, it's written right. Thank you for clarifying that. So that's the story about that. So for a long time, probably since Dusty arrived, or not long after he arrived, we began to look at, he said, what's Federated really, what's the Federated family really about? What is it that you think about when you think Federated? And so we began to dialogue about the mission statement and values, 5 core values of our church. So the mission statement really is who we are, what we stand for, what's important to us, what we want to accomplish. And the values are the route that we use to accomplish the mission statement. So you have a copy of the mission statement as it stands right now and the 5 core values that we have come up with. And we would like to share them with you today. Dusty has been sharing them in his sermons, and they've appeared a couple of times in individual spots on Facebook. But today, we're just sharing the whole set. So the mission statement, if you read with me, Federated Church welcomes all who enter, invites each to find sanctuary, connect to God, one another, and the needs around us. So we came up with this mission statement, and then we asked several people, just look at this mission statement and tell us, do you think about Federated? Is it a good descriptor of what's important to us, what we want to accomplish? And so we tweaked it a little bit and have now this mission statement. Then we talk about how is it that we accomplish that mission statement? What are the things that we are going to do regardless of what anybody else does? Those are our values, the things that are who we are, the essence of who we are and what we do. The first thing is that we welcome all people. I sent Dusty a picture yesterday because those of you who know that I'm a Hallmark ornament hoarder. I went to Hallmark yesterday to see what is the latest there, and they have a church ornament this year that says, we welcome. What's it say? We welcome all, or all are welcome. I was like, look, like we have our own Hallmark ornament. So at Federated, we passionately embrace Christ's command to love one another. We come from a wide range of cultural, theological, socioeconomic, and denominational backgrounds, and we celebrate our diversity. Number 2 is we share Christ's love through serving others. As God opens our eyes to the needs around us, we share generously of our time, hearts, and resources to make a difference beyond the walls of Federated Church. That's what Green Shirts and the Hunger Hike was about, making our presence known as we serve in our community beyond the walls of this building. We are Christ-centered. At Federated, we exemplify Christ's love by providing a safe space to explore spiritual ideas and experience the joy of connecting to God through his Son, Jesus Christ. We listen and learn from each other. 4, we are traditional with a twist. Federated Church is steeped in rich tradition, and we are people who wholeheartedly embrace opportunities to worship and grow in new ways. So when we did the worship survey, part of the reason we did that worship survey was to address this issue. What are some of the twists that we need to lean into? And one of those main twists is our music. And so Lisa has been working to bring in special music, to have new people in the choir, and to consider some more piano music, some more contemporary music. So we did that survey, we got that information, and we're trying to implement the things that were shared with us in that survey. So that continue to be a focus for us. And the last thing is that we work together. Federated is at its best when we are working together to serve Christ, our community, and one another. So the Congregational Council, the folks who have read the mission statement and values, people who worked on it, all feel confident that it describes who we are and what we hope to accomplish as we move forward. The next thing is Dusty and some of the ladies have been working on a new directory. So we have the pictorial directory that we did a couple of years ago. Dusty, as a new pastor, doesn't obviously know everybody. He and Val and the folks on the Care Council have initially visited the folks who were homebound. Now that some of the restrictions of the pandemic have lessened, they've begun to make those visits again. We've spoken to the Care Council and the deacons together because the responsibility of those two groups is to minister to the needs of the folks in our congregation, which means we need to know the needs of the folks in the congregation, and we need to be able to pass that information on to Dusty. So the directory is going to be an updated version of the folks that we're going to focus on. There will be people that we call that say, it's okay, you don't need to call me again, I found another church, or whatever their stance is. But the whole mission statement is about connecting to God, connecting to one another, and the needs around us. So we have to know the needs, and we have to connect to the people. Some people, are here. You all are here. There are folks who are watching online, and some of them will continue to do that. And we need to still know what their needs are and how we can be helpful. So probably what will soon happen is, for those of you who have been here for a long time, in the past we had a shepherding program, and we're going to have something akin to that again. The Care Council and the deacons will have a certain set of folks that they're responsible for to check in on. And nobody's trying to be nibbing in your business. The only thing we want to do is find out what your needs are, what your joys are, what your concerns are, and how we can support you in those situations. So if you don't want that to happen, then when somebody gives you a call when we initiate the program, let them know that they don't have to call you back. But we really want to be calling people probably at least once a month. So you can look forward to those phone calls from some federated family member. The next thing on the agenda, you want to add anything to the directory business, Dusty? Anything else you want to say about that?
The directory is just knowing who we're responsible for.
Okay.
And, so certain deacons are going to get page, 1 and 2. They're going to make those calls. Somebody else is going to get page 3, 4.
Okay. The next topic that I want to talk about is the work of the Congregational Council. So you see listed there the president and the president-elect positions. And you see the Article 4, Section 1, letter F of the bylaws, which says, in case of absence or disability of any officer, or for any reason that the Congregational Council may deem sufficient, the Congregational Council may delegate for the time being, in whole or in part, the powers or duties of such officer to any other officer or to any other person otherwise qualified to perform the same. So the decision has been made that my position as president will extend for an additional year. Thank you. Pauline will remain as the president-elect until January of 2023. So we are at a time everybody's heard this a million times, we're at a time of change, and so we need to be able to work as a team and move forward as a team. She needs time to kind of get into the groove, and, you know, July, I think it was July when we convinced her to do this. So anyway, that's the status of that. The financial secretary position, on the table outside was a job description of the financial secretary position. The Congregational Council has been addressing the role of the financial secretary, the marketing person, and a youth leader. At this point, we are going to aggressively try and hire the financial secretary. Orlo, Diane, and Kay Hunt have been sharing the responsibilities of that job for quite a while now. And I think they're ready to not be the financial secretary free people anymore. So I wanted the job description to be out there for everyone in the event that you know somebody who might fit the criteria that might be interested. It will be an in-church position. It's not a work remotely position. There's an office in the church that will be used for this position. So the marketing and media people have really been rocking the media stuff. So at this point, we really don't have a need for that individual position right now. The youth leader position is going to remain on hold right now, just as Dusty settles into the position and we try to figure out where those needs are and how they can best be met. So does anybody have any questions about any of that so far? I know it's a lot. So, Diane spoke to the issue of the budget, and I just want to say that, you know, since I've been president-elect, I think I've been to every trustee meeting and every congregational council meeting there is, and I'm here to tell you that the job that I will never do, that I never want to do in this church congregation, is be a trustee, because, you know, they really work hard to try and spend our money wisely, take care of our building, take care of the staff, the payroll, the transition of Dan Hartley out of a lot of the roles he had and other people into them has really been a challenge for folks. So I forgot what I was going to say. It was really important too, I think. Okay, well, I'll just move on. I know what it was. In those trustee meetings, what I've heard is, you know what, we don't really have a plan. Nobody really knows what we're going to do moving forward. You know, we don't have a lot. I mean, as Diane said, our budget has been the black last year, and this year again because of gifted money God sent us. Moving forward, most likely that will not happen. And so it's important to the trustees that we put out on the table, if things continue exactly as they are now without a change, we probably have, you know, maybe another 7 years, 8 years, as we are right now. So I think it's clear to everyone that we have to be good stewards of the money we have. We have money that's sitting in the endowments that we can't use to run the church. That money is for special events, mission stuff, special stuff. I can't even be more articulate than that. But there's a whole lot of money there that we can't use to run the church with. So it's important that you understand and really truly pray diligently about your ability to share your time, your talents, and your money. Because, you know, as we move forward, the Congregational Council and the trustees together are trying desperately to make sure that, you know, when it's 2032, we're sitting here having a meeting, and that people are still involved and Federated still is ministering in this community. So So we've begun to talk about how we do that, how the structure, the organizational structure of the church must change. So we have an average of, I think I've calculated maybe 74, 75 people average attendance in church from July, August, and September. When I looked at the boards that we have now, there are between 50 and 60 spots that need to be filled. And those, I mean, that's a pretty high percentage of those of us who are here. And clearly it took months and months to find somebody who was willing to move into a president position. So obviously some changes have to happen. I think that it's safe to say that we are really at the proverbial threshold of our future. You know, Dusty, we were lucky enough to be able to hire him. He has skills that will help us look not only at our relationship with ourselves and our relationship with each other and our relationship with God, but also our relationship with the outside world and how we manage the building, how we manage the money, how we manage the people, how we make decisions that are difficult. So although I see difficult decisions ahead of us, I'm really glad that he's here to help us with those decisions. I really do appreciate you, Dusty. So I was thinking about this. You know, this morning I got up and, typed something else into the middle of this, so now it might not make a lot of sense to you. But I was thinking about crisis and about how the pandemic has brought us, we've lived in a state of crisis for a long time. And so what I realized is that a crisis disrupts where you are and what's going on. This morning we were talking about stress, and some types of stress shut you down and some types of stress motivate you. And what's happened is the pandemic and the pandemic has moved forward into the forefront, our financial status. And it made me realize that it's really easy to keep doing what you're doing and hope things will change rather than take a risk to change them. But I'm not really the person that's about waiting and continuing to do the same thing and praying something different will happen as a result. I'm really kind of more about grabbing our opportunity. And I think we are at a place of opportunity right now. We have to not change who we are, but we have to identify who we are and pivot some of our practices to accomplish what we want to accomplish. That's where I think the mission statement is pivotal. It is really harder to talk from up here. Our question needs to be, what does this time and position make possible? If everything's changing and everything has, then there are all kinds of things that are possible. And so we need all of you in this room and all of the folks who are out there to be thinking and innovating. Because truly, we are a congregation that innovates. We were doing streaming and media before people had to do that. So we didn't adapt, we innovated. And we need to continue to do that. Smaller, mid-sized churches have to find their niche. Our niche is our mission statement. We welcome all people. Our goal is to be a sanctuary, a safe place for people, to help them connect to God through our worship service, through our service in the community, through our relationships with one another. Sometimes I find that we focus really only on growing our youth and how are we going to get more youth. And I think, and I've said from the beginning of standing up here, that there are other parts of the community that need to be reached out to also. So yes, we want to grow our youth, and yes, we know that families with youngsters need to have programming, and then we need to have families and youngsters to have programming. So But there are also other parts of the population that are out there that we can welcome. You know, how long ago did we do the 3 feet around us? So we focus on our internal family and we focus on the community around us. And if we are serving people out in the community, sometimes by going out, sometimes by having them come in. You know, we had the chancel players here, they did Godspell. We've got the West Lafayette Youth Choir soon to come and use the building for a show. So those kinds of community involvement things are important for us to do. We've invested a lot of dollars into our streaming because online services will be a part of our moving forward. It's not going to be the pandemic's over and no more streaming happens. You know, I think it's important if you think about Penny's and Amazon. You know, J.C. Penney's filed bankruptcy and they have an online gig going on now in, you know, a very few stores. So we have a physical church that has digital arms, and there are going to be some situations where people believe there will be digital churches with physical arms. I would like for this congregation and the folks involved here to remain a physical church with digital arms. Because regardless of the fact that we can connect through Zoom and streaming and other social media things, there's so much that happens when we can come together, even if we have to sit 6 feet apart and wear masks. So the Congregational Council will has really begun actually to look at how we might change the structure of the congregation. So that means we'll have to take a look at the bylaws. That means that we are going to go down that same road again that many of you have already traveled. So I'm going to challenge you. I'm not even just going to ask you, I'm going to challenge you to think about changes that you feel would be helpful to move us forward to a place that God is calling us to. If anybody's dying to look at the bylaws with us, let me know. If you don't know my phone number, call the church, they'll tell you. So in the process of trying to do the values, some other things that have been happening, just to kind of move on, is the service projects that have been happening. We're focusing again on small groups. So we're trying to take the information that came from the Hope Partnership and put that into practice. So Dusty has a small group that meets on Thursday evening that's now just started an in-depth study of James. We have the stress study Sunday school class, small group that meets in the parlor on Sunday mornings. Bill is doing another small group in Trimmer Hall. Because we believe that the way we move forward is together, and being together in small groups facilitates that happening. So we're focusing on that. Let's see, what else? All that stuff we already talked about. The values we already talked about. The mission board. So what's happened since I've been here is we kind of do things month to month. We know we do Jubilee Christmas at Christmas time, and we know that we do Easter at Easter time. But what we want to try to do is be more purposeful about the events that are happening, because we have a long list of mission, topics, I'll say. Some of them are there because people who used to be passionate about those things used to be here and used to help do those things. At this point, we don't have the volume or ability to do all of those things. So we want to hone in on the things that are important for us to serve the community. So what we are planning is a calendar that will project a service project for each quarter of the year. When the Hope Partnership met, one of the results that they came up with was they wanted to have a church-wide project that people would work on. So that's what the Hunger Hike was, a church-wide project for all of us, whoever wanted to, who was ever able to be a part of. So we will not only have those 4, but we will have 4 major events that will happen, and everybody will know ahead of time that they're going to happen. So things will be hopefully more organized and be more smooth. I keep losing track. Let's see. So there was still one other thing that I wanted to tell you about that. Hopefully it'll pop back into my head. Mission board. Anybody got any ideas what else I was going to talk about, Dusty? Nobody can read my mind. It's empty. It was going to be good. It was going to be good. Well, okay. I'll put it in a newsletter if I remember what it is. My challenge is not to reinvent the wheel, not to redo what we've already done, but to consider a change in the governing structure of the church, which means we're going to look at the opportunity we have to change how the boards are set up, how the executive council is set up. And so if you want to be involved in those conversations, if you have ideas about them but don't want to be involved, please let me know. I will try to communicate those changes to you as we go through the process. I'm not going to come up here and say, okay, we've made all these decisions, we've made all these changes, and now here it is. So just like we did with the Pastoral Search Committee, we will make, I know what it was. We will make you guys aware of what's happening. The other thing that was in my mind that I wanted to say, that I think everybody knows, is, we are in a town where there are a whole bunch of people in churches with very small numbers. So there's always the need to look at what we might do with another church congregation. Might we join with another church congregation? Might we refederate or federate on, or whatever it is that we might need to do? Might we share our church building with another ethnic group of folks who are meeting on Sunday afternoon? We are trying to present our building as a venue for people to use in the community. So there are all of those options that have to be looked at and considered as we move forward. So I want everybody to understand all of those things are being looked at. All of those things are being considered. And if you think one of those things is really the absolute way to go, please let me know that. I'm up here doing what I don't know how to do. So I really need you to help me do what we need to do. I believe God wants Federated in this community to welcome people, to love people, to connect them to one another, and to connect them to Him. So really takes all of us, but not all of us structured the way we're structured now. So it's 12:30. Anybody have any questions? Anybody have any comments?
If you do have comments later, we just hit you up in some way, like.
Yeah, I would suggest.
Take a while to process. I think I'm
Right.
speaking for more than myself.
Right. I know that there's a lot of information, and our biggest challenge is to share with you. There's a lot of stuff going on, and not stuff that we feel we want to be doing on our own. We're a congregational church, and that means everybody needs to be involved. Everybody's opinion is important. Everybody's help is necessary. Everybody's prayers are necessary, and everybody's funds are necessary.
And as far as like this for structural restructuring considerations, I mean, I don't want to
No, it will be the Congregational Council that will focus on that as the executive board of the church. And they will draw folks in who want to be a part of that.
So it'll address if we had a thought about something like that, get it to the congregational council.
You can send it to me or to Dusty, and it will get to the council that way. Since there isn't a council email. There's a Dusty email and there's a Lynette email, and those will get them there. Good questions. Thank you, Laura Marie. Anybody else? I appreciate everybody being here. I appreciate your willingness to love one another and support one another and move forward. It's an exciting time that Federated can become everything we dream it can be. We just have to dream big. Okay. Now I'm just going to ask that you join me in prayer. Loving God, we need you. I feel like I've been praying all week. We need you. There are people in our congregation who are hurting and sad. I ask you to wrap your arms around them and comfort them. There are those of us who are in leadership who are trying to listen to your leading, and we need you. We need your comfort. We need your wisdom. We need your guidance, and we are open to all of those things. Thank you for this day. Thank you for our service today, and thank you for the people who are present, either in spirit, in audio, in video, or in person. Forgive us, Lord, for the things that we do that are not pleasing to you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. You're welcome. Thank you. I think I remembered everything.